Oh my god, I just realized that the start of the video has been completely deleted. So I'm gonna have to redo that by from the start. So what I'm gonna do is just join my Discord server yet again. And now just go into chat and now just download the ISO. Quickly just close Discord. But basically what you want to do is go into, if I can close that, go into disk management, create a partition, like maybe preferably like a 5 GB partition. I already have one created. I'm gonna quickly just format my hard drive, but I already have one created, which is over here. I just want to create one, so just click shrink volume, type in. I can't really do it now because I've just disabled services, but for you just want to type in 5120 megabytes, and then I'll just shrink it by 5 GB, and then you want to create a new vault. So you want to right click on it and then click start. I don't know what it's called actually, but basically you want to just format that drive, and yeah, once that's formatted and once this is downloaded, then I'll show you what to do. I'm just gonna pause the recording for now, but once this is done downloading, I'll be back and I'll show you what to do. Okay, I think it's. Wait, is it paused or not? I don't know. Second. Okay, it's not paused. But yeah, the ISO is now done downloading. So what we want to do is we'll extract it with 7-zip or WinRAR. Then once this is just done downloading, I mean not downloading, extracting. Just want to wait for it to do its thing. Open this folder, press Control A, Control C, go to this PC, go to that new partition, or if you put it on a USB stick, that's fine, and just paste the files. And then once you've done that, you want to hold Shift, press. So once this is done, so like wait for this to actually like do its thing and complete. But once the file is done doing that, you want to hold Shift on your keyboard, keep holding it, press the power key with your mouse and click restart. That is what you want to do. I'm not going to do that because I've already installed Windows, but that's what you want to do, and then that will put you to the troubleshoot menu.
Okay, I'm back. This ignore the mess, but once you're in the troubleshoot menu, you want to click use a device. No, actually not use a device. Troubleshoot, advanced options, and then command prompt. And this will boot you into the command prompt, and you're just gonna wait till you. Oops, I accidentally stopped recording, but basically you just want to wait until you actually boot into the command prompt. And it will ask you if you have a password, just to put your password in. For me, I do not have a password, so I'll just do this, press enter, and this will put me into the thing. So now what I want here, I'm going to type disk part like this, and then what I'm going to do that is list space vol like so. And if you see for me my LTSC install, I don't even think I spelled it correctly, but yeah, LTSC installs actually the E thing. So what I'm going to do is press exit, and then and then I'm going to press capital E. That's not E. Can't really press it with one hand, but there we go. And then I'm just going to put my camera down for a second. Okay, so you want to type E and then colon reverse slash setup.exe. So yeah, so you just want to, so when you type in LOST vol, you want to look for the actual label, like what letter it is for your partition. So your partition like you've made to actually hold the install, or the USB stick. I want to find that. But for me, it's E, so I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to press next. Install now. And look, it's booting me onto the thing. So it's the same thing as pressing, same thing as using a USB stick, but I'm not actually using a USB stick. So what I want to do is press next. And then I accept the license agreement, custom. And now what I'm going to do is delete every single drive 1 partition. I'll delete drive 0 as well, because why not? Oh, actually, no, I didn't spell it incorrectly. It was just CMD just didn't have enough space. But yeah, there we go. So drive 1 is now been, what do you call it? Can I refresh? Drive 1 is now just installed. I don't know if I delete if I delete this, if it will just won't let me to continue with the install. So I'm just gonna choose to do it on this drive, just because it's just only 500 megabytes. If I really want to, I can just extend it by, not 500, 479, but if I really want to, I can extend it once back into Windows. But what I'm going to do is press next. And this will just install the operating system. But yeah, there we go. I've just installed the OS without having to actually need a USB stick. And with this, like, it's just going to be much more, like, better. It's just going to be easier in general, just because you're not going to have to use Rufus. You don't have to use a USB stick, so it's much faster, because you know how USB sticks are really slow. And there's just a less chance of having errors, like, with this method. I think my battery is low on my PC, on my phone. I'm not entirely sure if my battery is low. Yeah, but it is very low. So I'm gonna quickly pause this and then put my phone on charge. I'll just come back when this is done. Okay, I'm back. And once you're on this page, you just want to choose your region, your language, and etc. So, for me, I'm in the United Kingdom, so I'm just going to press enter on the United Kingdom. I actually have the British United Kingdom layout, so I'm just going to use this. Press enter. I'm going to skip that secondary layout. But essentially, like, if you still don't know why LTSC is actually better than using regular Windows 10 or using custom OS like RevOS, for example, is you want to click your main join here instead. But the main reason is that on a normal Windows install, it's very bloated, and it will just take a lot of your computer's resources. Have really bad performance. A lot of like your CPU memory utilization is going to be much higher, and just going to have this worse performance in general. And then compared to something like RevOS, it's already stripped. You don't need to download a custom OS, which you don't, because it's not open source. I don't know if RevOS it might be open source, but even still, you actually know like the tweaks, like because you know it's stripped. You don't know what, like, if anything's broken, because with a lot of custom OSs, a lot of stuff can just be broken and etc. But if you actually install LTSC, which is already really stripped, and then just tweak that, that's better than using something like RevOS, where you don't know if something's broken or not. You don't know if like what specific tweaks do, if they're actually helpful or not. But yeah. That's basically the main reason why you'd want to use something like LTSC, just because it's just better. And I've had people use LTSC and just use my free optimization pack and then just have better performance than using RevOS or other custom gaming OSs. Yeah, but that's like one of the reasons why you would actually want to actually install LTSC compared to just using a gaming OS or just regular Windows 10. But I'm just gonna pause this now, or just close this now, And once I'm into Windows and I've actually got OBS, like now I'm into Windows, but once I'm in like, once I've got OBS and Discord open, then I'll start like recording from my PC. I'm just gonna pause this now and I'll be back.
Okay, I'm back on my desktop, but once you're back into Windows, you want to go into Edge, go to 7zip.org, and then download 7zip, and then go to discord.com and download Discord. Although once you're into Discord, you want to join my server. If you're already in my server, you can just skip this step, but you don't have to skip like downloading the Discord process, but you still need to do this. But what you want to do is download my free optimization pack and then the LTSC 21H2 setup.raw. So once you actually have done that, you want to go to File Explorer. If I can click on it and then drag this here, go to Downloads, and then extract the file to here, and extract this file to here as well. But you want to open the folder, press Ctrl A, Ctrl C, go to this PC, local disk C, paste. Do this for all current items, and then continue with run as administrator. Want to refresh this, run this registry edit, and this was disable UAC, and you want to run this as administrator. And what this is going to do is just get this off evaluation mode. So I'm going to stop recording, and then I'm going to press enter. So what you want to do is press enter, and that will restart your PC. But I'm going to press stop recording and then press enter. Okay, so now we actually get onto the Windows optimization and 21H2 LTSC setup process. So you want to first of all take off task view, news and interest, turn that shit off. Do not show app icons, and do not show a new number of notifications. I'm gonna go to notifications and action settings, turn that shit off, go to like focus assist, turn that shit off also. Just don't want that bullshit in general. And also search icon, and then pin your stuff, because your shit won't be pinned, so you need to make sure that shit is pinned. Go into task manager, start up and just disable every single thing that's on here. And yeah, that would be good. So I'm going to quickly go to my details and then just close Edge, because we don't want Edge running in the background. Yep, that's good. And now I'm going to go back into what is it? This PC, local disk C, and then activate Windows 10 LTSC using this command, and this will straight away activate it. While this is doing it, oh, it's already done. But what I was gonna say, after we just done this, it's gonna customize it. I personally put it on dark mode, and we do want to turn off transparency effects. You want to turn off transparency effects just because they will be taxing your performance, and you don't want that. You want the best performance possible. So we're just gonna keep it nice and simple. And now I'm just going to delete files that I do not need, such as these files, just because I do not have a use for them. There's my free optimization pack. I'm just going to drag that to my down folder and then delete the other folder. But yeah, now what we want to do is actually, we don't need to disable USC because it's already disabled. We don't need to deploy Windows because LTSC is already debloated. It does not come with anything you actually need, and I don't believe debloating works on LTSC. Not that I'm aware of. I've tried it before, it does not work. But now what we want to do is go into the programs, and sudo, and then run and sudo as an administrator. Click browse, then go to my downloads folder, free optimization pack, start. No, I did not mean to click on that, but start. 1 second. That's not the file I'm trying to open. There we go. Start, and then I want to go to disable services. Click run. This is going to open my Twitter. You don't need to do that. Just ignore that. You can just click Edge for now. But yeah, it says not reversible. Make sure you want to continue. Just press capital Y for yes, capital Y. I mean capital N for no. But you obviously do want to do this process, just because it's going to lower your processes and just make Windows a lot snappier in general. So press Y, press Enter, and that's just going to disable a bunch of services, and those services have now been successfully disabled. And now I want to do the same thing, but now I want to disable Windows updates. So that's going to open my Twitter again, but you can ignore that, and then are you sure you want to continue? Capital Y, Enter, and now this is just going to disable Windows updates. And do that all for me. So you don't need to close it. It will just close automatically. As soon as everything is done, press Enter, and boom, Windows update is successfully disabled, and now it's closing. There we go. Now that is closed. Now we want to go to the free optimization pack, registry tweaks and more. Open the registry, apply this, press yes, okay. So now the registry tweaks have been applied, which is good. Now from here, what you want to do is preferably, like, if you want to install like your drivers, I recommend doing that. There's like the page to install AMD drivers and how to strip it. Right now I'm on 3060 just for this video, so I'm going to be showing how to do that. Intel, there's how to do for Intel, and then NVIDIA, here's how to strip it. So what I recommend doing is pinning this to your taskbar, just because this is going to be a lot, a lot more convenient for when we're doing DDU. So when we open DDU, we're going to open this, press OK, close, OK, select device type, click GPU, and then click clean and do not restart. In my experience, I've never had an issue with clean and do not restart, and it saves a lot of time. So this is now going to uninstall my driver. I don't know how this is going to look on camera. Hopefully it doesn't fuck it up. I think it might, so I'm gonna check. Okay, I'm back. Don't know how quick I can do this. Hopefully the NVIDIA driver doesn't automatically install. But when you click manually select the driver version, oh my god, the fucking driver installed. Hopefully, like, I think you can still do this, even though the driver is automatically installed. It should be fine, just because you can remove the driver, I'm pretty sure, from the process itself, but should be perfectly fine. But as I was saying, is usually you want to do that fast as possible, but I couldn't, just because I was recording with the NVENC encoder and I had to change it to X 264, so it's the CPU. So it's running on my CPU instead of my actual instead of my actual GPU, and obviously because I was uninstalling the driver, it crashed the recording, which was kind of stupid, but the recording's still perfectly safe. It's still just closed, just have to record it. But now I'm gonna have to just wipe the driver from NVIDIA itself, which is still perfectly fine, but like the preferred method of uninstalling your driver is by using DDU. So that's why you want to have this pinned, so as soon as the DDU is done, you can open this and install the driver instantly, practically. But yep, don't make the same mistake as me. Like, obviously you won't make the same mistake as me because you're not recording, but for me, because I was using the GPU's encoder and I uninstalled my driver, it crashed the thing, and I had to, and my OBS was having issues as well, and then that's delayed me, but there we go. I can't really do anything about it now, but I can still just uninstall the driver while doing this process. So it's going to wait for this to do its thing. Now I want to click this option, this option, this option is very needed. This is the reason we're using this version of NVIDIA Clean Install compared to the latest, just because on the newer versions of NVIDIA Clean Install, you do not have this option to install Control Panel from the store with no Microsoft account required. Even on LTSC, even though LTSC does not have the store, it still installs it. And we want to disable with a telemetry message HTTP, and this is for Fortnite. If you do not have this with games with easy anti-cheat, will not be able to load and have a lot of issues. So make sure you tick this box. But this is what you want to tick. If you press next, look, now store is being, not store, but control panel is being installed. And this is what I want to do now. I click install. This is now going to open the NVIDIA control panel, not NVIDIA control panel, the NVIDIA installation of like the driver itself, but you want to press accept, custom, and then press next. But yeah, for me, you can see you can still do a perform, you can still perform a fresh, clean install of your driver. However, it's much better doing it with DDU just because it will save you time. So if you do it DDU first and then do it, you're most likely gonna have less bugs. Like you're gonna encounter less bugs. It's just gonna be, that's a lot better in general. But it doesn't matter if you don't really need DDU because you can remove it with this. But preferably use DDU. And now the graphics driver is going to install, which is good. So I'm just going to wait for this to do its thing and then show you what to do. Oh yeah, make sure to tick this box called install this driver software anyway, just because if you don't tick it, then your driver won't install. So you want to click on this box so everything is okay. Okay, I think my driver is installed. Check that. Is my OBS still working? Yes, it is. Okay. Yep, there's my driver installed, and now what I want to do is go to my free optimization pack, go to the Windows settings. My shit's going to be already on 100% scaling, but if yours is not, do that. If you haven't already disabled your startup apps, do that. MS config, if you want to go to services, hide all Microsoft services. And then for me, personally, I'm just going to disable all, including NVIDIA Display Container, just because after I restart my PC, I'm not going to realistically use the control panel. So, and I can always just enable this back if I ever need to use the control panel. It will work straight away. So press apply, OK. Exit without restart. Performance options, I preferably just click just for best performance. Background apps, you want to turn this off. Click scaling, turn that shit off. Game mode, always want game mode off. So bad for your PC. Mouse acceleration, turn that shit off. Also, for me, I'm just going to quickly change my pointer speed as well, just because I play on 1600 DPI, and I prefer not having a super fucking fast thing. But yeah, my transfer effects already already turned off because I did it earlier. Power tweaks, this is what you want to run as administrator. You don't need to use InSudo for this, but what this will do is just import my low latency power plan. You want to delete the ultimate performance power plan, close this, and then press enter, and that's just going to delete the stock power plans. If I go back to power options, where is it? There we go. You can see it's only my power plan, and you do not have to change any settings. Everything will be done for you. Maybe in a laptop you might have to change it if you don't want it to. If you don't want your monitor to switch off after a couple of minutes, like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is. Maybe you have to change that, but all the other settings will be complete. So if you're on a desktop, you'll become perfectly fine. So that's done with that, and now like we can go to the other parts of actually just tweaking Windows and just your PC in general. But what I'm going to do now is open NVIDIA Profile Inspector. Wait for this to load. Now I'm going to import my profile. So it's called Fortnite.net, but it works for all games. And it's not just for Fortnite. It's not like it's not like specifically changed just for Fortnite. Is every game in general, but it's just called Fortnite. I don't know why. I can change the name of it, but it's because I use the same name in my. So it's the same nip that I use. So it's the same nip and power plan that I use for my paid service. But if I were to change the name, it would just a lot of reverse engineering would be done in my program, and I have to rename and label a lot of stuff. So I'll just keep it as Fortnite, even though this works for all games. I just keep it as Fortnite. But there we go. What to call it? 3D settings have been changed. What also I'm going to do is go into the control panel, just image settings with preview, turn that shit off. Just going to put it some performance. If I can full screen this, please. Here we go. Manage 3D settings. I'm going to put low latency mode turned on, and 3D optimization. If you want more FPS, then keep this on. If you want lower latency, then keep this off. Personally, I want more frames. My latency is already good, like very, very, very good. So I'm just going to keep this on. So if you're on a low-end system, I recommend, even if you're on a high-end system, if you just want to test it out, you can see what's the difference between on and off. Make sure you reboot your PC after changing the settings, just because if you don't, then you're not going to see a difference. But if you want to test like the latency or the FPS improvement, then do that and you can try it out. Resolution, to set this to your monitor's native resolution, and do that same for your other monitors, and make sure both monitors are set to their full output dynamic range, or like any monitors in general. So all the monitors you have, make sure they're set to the max refresh rate and full output dynamic range. Desktop color settings, I preferably just like to override them to the desktop, like the reference mode, not the desktop, but the reference mode. But don't really like to change any of the color settings. Plus, if you change any, then you're just gonna have more latency. And yeah, just don't want more latency. But if your monitor has display scaling, use display scaling. My monitor does not have display scaling, so I have to use my GPU. But if your monitor does use display scaling, please use display scaling because that will lower your latency. And also, if you have multiple monitors and you have them in different configurations, make sure to set them up properly. But just want to change the dynamic range to full and do that. So that's all of the NVIDIA settings done for me. You don't want to touch anything else. That's everything done. Also, if you use G-Sync, preferably turn it off. But if you do have to use it, then in games, make sure to cap your FPS 3 below. So if I'm playing on 240, just cap it at 237. If I'm playing on 144, cap it at 141. But yeah, that's NVIDIA done. Don't need to do MSI mode utility just because I've already done that with what do you call it? NVIDIA Clean Install, but also there's a lot of other stuff you can change in MSI mode utility. So if you want to do that, you can do that later, but I'm not going to do that to this video just because I want to make this video as fast as possible. Run 7-zip registry if you want to. Probably don't even need to run this with sudo. Custom resolution utility. If you want to use custom resolution, then you can. There are tutorials online how to do it. I could show you, but don't want to really waste any time. DDU, obviously you've seen that. HDD USB F. What you want to do is open this. I'm going to run this as admin just in case. But you want to open this. Change this to 1000 install service. To 1000 install service. And then keyboards. It's already done for me. It's because like Razer mouse and keyboards, it's the same. I don't know why. If I press restart and wait for this to restart for me, and you can see that on 1000 hertz. If you get an error, just ignore it, but it should just work. And preferably, I would not want to overclock your controller. Like, even on all controllers, if you do overclock them, just keep them 1000 hertz. Do not overclock them to 8000 hertz or more. A lot of people say to do do it, but what people don't understand is, yes, your polling rate will increase, but it won't be stable. So a lot of like wireless mouses, like the Razer Viper V2 Pro, even though they have 4K hertz, it might not be stable, and it depends on your hardware, etc. So always just overclock to 1000 hertz, and that should be completely stable and perfectly fine. So that's done there. You can also do this with controllers if you didn't know. But yeah, that's your USB done. Malwarebytes if you want to use that for virus scanning and etc. OpenShell, I'll show you how to do OpenShell. This just makes like, so let's say you want to disable search and replace with OpenShell, then you could. So I'm just going to quickly do that now because it won't take that long to install, honestly. So that's okay. I'm going to copy this file. I want to go to this PC, program files, OpenShell skins, and then paste this into here. Then I'll press Windows key, skin, backup, load from XML file. Go from here, OpenShell, menu settings, normal square, opaque glass color, press OK. And now when I open it, it's much cleaner, it looks better in general, takes less space, and you can also disable search from taskbar. So, and this search bar is much better, and it works in all Windows versions. If you want to use this Windows 7 and have like a Windows 10 like start menu, then there you go. There you've got it. You've got it there. But yeah, that's OpenShell done. Let me have a look. If you want to install any drivers, then you can do that. VLC Media Player, if you want to use that, you can. This Windows still has like the traditional Windows Media Player that you have on Windows 7 and other Windows versions. So if you want to use that, you can. But if you want to use VLC Media Player, you can also install that. Personally, I'm not going to install it just because I do not need to and I do not require it. But if you do want to have this instead of Windows Media Player for any reason, then you can. But yeah, I think that's all tweaks within the pack that's done. But you can also do more tweaks, which I don't know if I want to show or I do want to show. Why not? Let's just show it. So more stuff you could do is, like, for example, device manager. Search up device manager. You can just optimize your device manager. For example, what I'm going to do is security, not security devices. Is it security devices or is it? Software devices. I'm just going to disable this. I'm going to go to my system devices, disable this. HBET, disable this. Management engine, disable that. SMB bus, disable that. SBI, disable that. Hyper-V, disable that. This, disable this. Actually, we don't need to disable Hyper-V. This is not what you're meant to disable. Keep that enabled. But virtual drive and virtual network adapter, you want to disable this. System timer, also disable. UMB bus. Root numerator. Also, if you have like sound timer or some shit, I don't know what it's called again, but I'll just link in the description what else you can disable, just because if you're on AMD, you're gonna have more stuff you can disable compared to me, or like just basically depending on your system specs, you're gonna have other stuff you can disable. But I'll just link them in the description what else you can disable in Device Manager. Also, print queues, we're just going to disable that. We don't need printing. Literally, do not need printing whatsoever. Like, I do not need printing whatsoever, so I'm just going to fully disable printing. And network adapting. No, I'm not adapting. Adapters. I just disable Bluetooth. Yep, disable Bluetooth and disable Wi-Fi. And I'm also going to disable Bluetooth from here, so I'm going to disable this, disable this, disable this, and disable this. Also, if you have any audio devices that you can disable that you do not use, then you can disable them too. I've already disabled mine before I start recording, so I do not need to do that. But if you need to, then you can do that.